I'm now a few days into working on this chapter, which a few days ago I had said was a chapter that I was probably going to end up deleting. This was a chapter that I had said was kind of repeating the same ideas and the same theme that I've already explored in several other chapters throughout the story, and that this one was basically me just writing the incorrect thing so that way the correct thing might spawn from that. It is kind of funny how that works. Often you write chapters that maybe don't last the full story, that perhaps in the later drafts you throw out. But because you wrote these chapters, they tend to spring off into other chapters, and your brain tends to work out different ideas and concepts that come to fruition. So while you might be writing the wrong thing in terms of what will last at the end of the book, at the end of your process, when the final draft is penned, the ideas and things that you explore and you dig up as you're going through these chapters that may not last end up getting touched upon later on. You end up working on a different chapter that branches off from this in a way, and there's a theme or idea that you get to explore that you hadn't considered before. Well, I may in fact be very wrong. I might end up keeping this chapter for the entire book. Basically, my hang-up, I guess I've been pretty vague. So my hang-up with the chapter and with doing this is simply that it involves another side character dying. And in the story, I've had a lot of chapters that have dealt with death and loss. And it's one of those things where I feel like I was going, back to the well too many times, that the more you discuss these topics, the less impact they're going to have individually. A story where maybe one or two deaths happen carries a lot more impact than one where maybe several characters tend to die. Especially if the book is talking about loss. It's kind of going back to that theme of relationships, loss, and kind of moving through life after loss, as my book does explore. Just the more times you do it, the less impact it's going to have. And so often less is more, and you want to find a couple good opportunities to show something and let those take hold, rather than having maybe half a dozen chapters that deal with it. Well, I'm thinking now that maybe I was incorrect. That while yes, I'm kind of exploring an idea, at least in the general sense, of a side character is going to be dying in this chapter. What I get out of it, though, is an idea that I haven't explored yet. There's a way of processing and dealing with death. In this case, it's simply the main character. They're close with this side character, but the side character is having health problems. It's becoming more and more apparent something is wrong, and basically the main character has a chance to kind of talk to them and spend a little bit of time with them, in their sort of final months, basically. And I'm thinking there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity to kind of showcase some stuff that I haven't shown before. And so I'm thinking now that maybe I was wrong, that maybe this story will stay in the whole time. Obviously, only time is going to tell, and we've got a long ways to go here. It's going to be several years before this book is done. So who knows? But I might have been wrong, and this is why, again, it's often best to start writing the wrong things. It's often best to leave no stone unturned. Even if you're writing something that you think is going to suck, or you think you're not making progress, etc., it's often a good idea just to write it anyways, to get it out anyways, because as you can see, at times you can make progress when you're not even realizing it. There's a Stephen King quote about that too, with something along the lines of in writing, you're often making progress even if it feels like you're just shoveling shit from a sitting position, or something like that. And it's pretty true. It's pretty true. Even when you're doing the wrong thing, you think you're still making some sort of progress with your novel that you only realize later on. So we'll see what happens. But for now, this chapter is going quite well. So I guess knock on wood that this continues.